So, let's kick it off, Nathan. 21. Odd dumbbell. That's you.
I'm odd, aren't I? You're even.
Yep.
All right, let me just get comfortable. This is going to be a long one.
You reckon?
I don't know.
You never tell at the start. You think it's going to be a long one. Like with a Swiffer one, I didn't think it was going to be that long.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you do it and it's like a short one. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Go with the flow, man.
What's our shortest one? Probably like an hour and 10? I think I was looking at the...
I thought it was like an hour and a half. We have an hour and 10 one.
Yeah, I think we have an hour and 10 or 100.
That would have been one of our beginning ones. That's why. I think it was one of our first
because we were scared.
Scared about the audio and stuff.
We didn't know what we were doing.
All right.
All right, well, again, I hate it when I say all right. I say it every time, dude, to get into a video.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to catch myself.
Okay.
Like, why do I have to say all right? You know,
Okay.
just start. Like, come on.
I don't think anyone cares about you, apart from you.
Yeah, but it's like, all right. All right.
So it's a way of you
just speak normally.
It's just comfortable thing. It's like a bad habit you've picked up somewhere.
It's like a habit. It's like a word that I input between the start.
For others, it's
Yeah. Well, I mean, I throw in ums as well. I need to, so it just takes a lot of effort, man.
Welcome, one step at a time.
Welcome everyone to episode number 21 of the Broken by Concept podcast. My name is Nathan Mott. This is Coach Curtis. We love League of Legends. We're addicted to League of Legends. I'm just kidding. We think League of Legends is a great game. That's why we talk about it.
That's right. Lot to cover today.
Yep.
Just a bit of housekeeping stuff. So for what won't be our next episode, will be the episode after. So episode 23, we're gonna have a guest, and it's gonna be Jonathan Brown.
We've talked a bit about him on the podcast before.
Yep, we talked a bit about him. He was my mentor. He's probably one of the biggest contributing factors to my development as a coach and a person.
Huge.
Very important role model for me. And yeah, we're lucky enough to get him on the show next week. So if you have any questions that you would like to have answered or topics that you want him specifically to cover, whether it's because he's a master of psychology and improvement.
Expert in psychology, thriving in stressful situations, fast-moving situations.
Understanding how to perform in high-stress environments. He really knows how to get results. And the mindset behind it, the mentality. He's a very knowledgeable man. So if you have any questions about maybe some problems specifically that you want him to answer or some topics you would like a professional to discuss, because me and Nathan aren't really professionals.
We don't know what we're talking about, do we?
Whether it's tilt related, invisible narrative related, whatever it is out there that you want us to cover during that episode, let us know.
So I think what I'll do is I'm going to make
book recommendations would be a very interesting one from Jono.
Yes,
because he's literally a walking library.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll actually make a post on the YouTube community section.
Okay.
And then I'll do it as this video. I'll schedule it as this video comes out tonight. And then just put your comments in there. So then we just have them all collated there.
Okay. So within the community tab. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll do that. Brilliant. So I got just okay. We got to also clear this up as well. We've had a few people, but I think from the YouTube comments, my Discord, probably your Discord as well, wanting us to talk about some of the roster changes, what's happening over in NA, EU, etc.
The esports side of League of Legends.
Yeah, we don't talk about the esports too much, but I thought we might as well touch on a few things because there have been some...
It's been a big off-season, right?
Very big off-season, major changes. So, where do you want to kick this one off, Nathan?
Would you say the biggest news? I mean, there's a lot of big news. I mean, I'll say there's 3 big news. I mean, Doublelift one came out today. So Perkz going to C9.
I think there's 4.
Rekkles going to G2.
Yep.
Doublelift retiring.
And then Perkz and the coach.
Perkz and the coach.
Yeah, I think they were the 4 biggest as well.
Okay.
So what do we know about... Okay, so let's actually start with Rekkles to G2.
Okay.
What were your immediate thoughts when you heard this news?
Well... Rekkles has lost. I mean, G2's lost Perkz. G2's roster is better than Fnatic's. So Rekkles wants to go to G2 because G2 beats Fnatic and he wants to be on the best team.
Yeah.
You know what? He's done this before with Alliance. And then he came straight back to... He joined the Super Team. Remember Alliance was an absolute failure?
So he went from Fnatic to Alliance, back to Fnatic. Yeah, he did that.
He's done it before.
Nah, I mean,
What do you reckon?
I think this is a genius move from
who?
G2.
Oh, for G, absolutely.
I think it's an absolute genius move. And
It's so many aspects. Psychological warfare. It's like, this is our league. We just take whoever we want.
no one's even close. Like, Fnatic think they're close, but they're not really close.
Yeah.
Like, G2 on another level.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that just really irritates me. It's the lack of consistency within coaching staff in esports. And what have we seen contrastingly now from Fnatic and then G2? Fnatic have gone through a lot of coaching staff.
Ooh, they did have Young Buck for a long time.
Then let's read. Okay,
longer than a long time.
Long time in esports is like
context.
what, 2 years?
Yeah, I think it was 3 years.
Okay,
yeah.
that was an anomaly.
Yeah.
Then he's gone. Boom, he goes to XL. They get, who do they get after that? They get another guy. Then Mithy comes in. And now Mithy's, I don't think Mithy's re-signing. No. Now they've got Yamato come back. Yeah. Like, they've had so many coaches.
Yeah.
Look at G2.
Just grab
those two guys, the same two as well. There's the coach and the assistant coach.
Yeah. I love it.
Like, that is, like, yes, consistency with playing, like the players, is very important. But coaching stuff, in my mind, is even more important because the knowledge and the experience that you learn and you take from the finals, playing out a split, developing a team, creating a team identity, the main takeaways from an international tournament, which are massive, building upon that each year is what really sets the foundation, the culture, and what that organization is about. And G2 have done a great job with that. So I think G2, with Rekkles moving, I mean, they were just going to dominate EU. Maybe a bit shaky at the start, finding their identity, how to play with Rekkles. But you know what? I'm very optimistic. I'm excited to see G2 play, and I think they really are cementing a legacy within Europe.
Well, I remember, I think I looked at there was like a little photo or like infographic or something of like all the championships all the teams that have won EU LCS. Literally, like, it's like Fnatic for a long time. And then like Alliance is like in there, and then it's just G2.
G2 just dominate.
It's like 9 splits, like almost in a row. Like, it's insane.
I don't think it's very likely we don't see a team as dominant as G2 ever again
in EU,
in Europe.
Oh yeah,
it's highly likely.
Yeah.
So we're living in a very special time now. The other major change, Perkz to C9. I mean, C9's roster is so stacked.
Okay, so like Curtis, is it
so stacked?
Is it like there's all these memes and stuff? Like Perkz has said he never actually said he never would, but he says he thought it was like he always thought NA was like.
I don't know. There was there was a clip somewhere. I don't know if it was.
Never go to NA.
I think it was. I'd never go to NA or something. It was something like it was a meme. It was a pretty funny one. But
so is he doing it for the money? He wants to change or something, or like is that the best team he could have gone on for mid lane?
I mean, what I believe it to be personally, because I've had this for myself, is role swapping. So for those of you who don't know, I role swap from mid lane to top for someone else. Literally, basically, there's a very similar situation for Perkz for Caps, right? Because Perkz wanted to play with Caps.
Yep.
And Caps would have just joined another team, and Perkz obviously saw how good Caps was and wanted to play with him. So he swapped to AD. Now, Perkz knows deep down, like, you know, as a player that you have an identity in a certain role. You just click with certain roles, certain champions, like the way of playing the game, like you click with it. And I think, yes, you can get away with it and you can play to a decent level, but to truly see what you're made of and see your
going
utmost
through
potential,
all the challenges, all the periods where you're going to start sucking at the role, you got to really love your role, man.
You got to really love your role.
And it always been in the back of his mind, always back in your mind. I'm a mid laner, man.
And I regretted it. I did it for a year, and that's what ruined my career.
Yeah.
I think if I never moved from top, I probably would have stayed a pro player.
Yeah.
And who knows what I could have achieved. But I moved for Fantix and then moved to top lane for him because I wanted to play with him. And that changed the course of my career.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I mean, I think the main reason is that he wanted an opportunity to play on a top team as a mid laner.
And he was denied the Fnatic option.
No, I don't think. I probably think there was an option there for Fnatic, but he was probably intelligent, thinking, okay, I'll make more money from C9.
No.
Plus
like,
I can
I'm
win.
pretty sure Oslo didn't let him talk to him. That was the news.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was right. So, Oslo didn't even let him talk.
He can't go to Fnatic.
Oh, that's so genius.
So it's like, it probably makes sense. Maybe C9, I think C9's actually the best next option.
He's not getting allowed to not allowed to talk to Fnatic, which is great move by Carlos, by the way. I saw some flame on Reddit saying, Oslo didn't allow him to talk to Fnatic. That's business.
Welcome to competition.
Welcome to sport. welcome to sports business. That's how it works. You've literally now denied Fnatic Perkz a great mid laner, which then has boomed that team because now Bwippo is not happy with the roster. And, you know, like that team's just exploded in a way. So, anyway, C9, from what I heard, like they wrote a blank check. So put a number and, you know.
It's like the number, including the buyout, is like 11 point something million. I don't know if that's true or not, but like that's...
I can imagine it being that high.
So, I mean, Perkz, what a career, dude. He's joining the team he probably wants the most, and he's getting a huge paycheck.
What a legends. I mean, and look at that roster.
Yeah.
So let's go from bot to top.
Okay.
So we have
Sven,
Vulcan and Sven, an amazing bot lane. And Sven's an NA resident now.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like an EU, he's a superstar EU player. Now he's an NA resident. That is OP.
Yeah, it is OP.
And then you've got Vulcan, the best support by far, basically, in NA. Then you have Perkz as a mid laner. As a jungler, who do they have again? Blabber.
So, I mean, Blabber had his amateur year. I mean, he's I think his career is going up.
Yeah.
Going only up.
And their top laner...
Fudge.
Oh, Fudge. What an amazing
Okay,
roster.
well, I mean, Curtis, you know,
hype up
Fudge, and everyone's pretty questionable about Fudge because he's an OS player, you know? He's from OS.
And I've seen he's like dominating apparently in the in-houses as well right now.
Fascinating.
Like he's going to pop off.
That's exciting.
Like
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Like I said this last episode, but I'm going to say it again. Fudge was the most genius, I think the most genius recruitment move, potentially up there in the top 5 recruitment moves of all time in NA history.
Yeah.
I mean, Bjergsen to TSM, I would say, you know, that literally made TSM's organization.
Yeah.
What are some other ones in NA that were really good?
Ooh.
I mean, even C9 getting Sven and Vulcan, like that bot lane and buying out Vulcan was, I think, very worth it.
Yeah, that was probably really
That was
good.
a big move and paid off big time.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know the history.
Liquid building that super team.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, when they went all out on the money, getting Doublelift, Jensen, Smithy, Impact.
Anyway, there's a lot of great ones, but I would say Fudge is definitely up there. And we're going to see it. I mean, again, I could be completely wrong here. I'm going to put that out there. I could be completely wrong. He might shit the bed on stage. That may happen. But from what I've seen, what I know about him, what I've seen in OS, things like that, like I don't see how he can fail. And I'm very optimistic. Yes, he might be a bit shaky at the start, but he will turn into a superstar player. So G2, C9, and the other point I wanted to mention here, you know what's funny, Nathan? Is that we have a roster like a star-studded roster like C9, and then in the same league, we have Golden Guardians.
So Golden Guardians got 2 people from like a collegiate team at Maryville or something
Maryville,
like that.
Niles and someone else. And they have...
They basically have they went full
Blaze Olive, which is another academy player.
Yeah.
They've got a very rookie...
Oh, then they have Stixay.
And
What do you think about that Stixay move? I mean, he's a veteran, end of his career, like from an AD position leading the team.
Probably like dirt cheap.
You
Probably
reckon?
like a dirt cheap 80 carry.
It's like a dirt cheap veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, like, what does that mean to be a Golden Guardians fan?
Yeah.
Like, yes, I'm not going to talk about the performance. Yes, it's obviously this happens in certain leagues where you have the dominant team.
Well, it's like economics. Like, okay, they're just going for rebuilding.
Rebuilding phase.
Yeah.
This happens in NBA and all that. It's like when Golden Guardians first in the NBA.
Golden State Warriors started building their Steph Curry team.
Exactly.
Yeah, they started that 2009, 2010.
That was a long build.
Yeah.
They build around a few star players, but who's the star player that you're building around in that team?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, Steph Curry wasn't a star player when he first joined. You know what I mean? It's like maybe it could be someone else on the team right now.
I could see someone like a Fudge and building around a Fudge.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Or like a Lost.
Yeah.
Or
well, it means we got a couple of those players. Ray's Destiny now.
Even like a Rays, build around these players. But like
FBI.
I mean, even like if you got Nemesis somehow, if they were somehow to get like one of these really high ranks like AU players as well, and just build around them. I mean, that's possible. I just don't see who they're building around if that's the case. And maybe we're wrong. Maybe they just have to do this year because they're saving up money for another year. But pretty sad times to be a Golden Guardian fan. And literally, let's be very specific here. What makes you be a fan of Golden Guardians?
Yeah.
Apart from if you follow the NBA team and like you don't really know who to go for, so you just go for them because you
follow Golden State Warriors.
The brand.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm not sure. This is not even to flame Golden Guardians because this is the same across all leagues, and this is just a fascinating question.
Well, this is the problem with esports compared to traditional sports versus the demographics. I mean, like the physical location. It's like you have a team that's based on around a city, right?
Yeah. If you live in Toronto, you're going to go for the team that's in Toronto.
Yeah.
If you're in Dallas, you're going to go for the team in Dallas Cowboy. Whatever it is, like you're always going to go for the team
that will get those teams through when they're rebuilding. They come in last place because Golden Guardians just say they're going to be on the bottom of the ladder. It's like so it's like okay, so you're going to support the team. if you're a fan of the team, you're going to be disappointed every week.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, maybe you could see some sort of optimism, like, yeah, we're improving, you know, but like at the end of the day, you have no chance of making it to the top. As you said, how is a Cloud9 roster in the same league as, or a Liquid roster in the
Literally
same
zero
league?
chance. We're talking zero chance of winning.
So yeah, it's
Okay, 1 or 0.01.
It's
like
tough to be a fan of, and I think that's why we've seen such a big turnover of teams. If you think about all the turnover of teams, like new teams coming in and out, it's like these teams are just struggling to like build any sort of fan base that they can even just make, monetize.
Because I just can't see how you would be a fan of one like a genuine fan, a fan that was going to buy their merch, follow all their games, watch all of their content. How? I mean, maybe we're just biased because we're not like the traditional esports fan.
Because I don't think we're biased at all. I mean, give me a reason, man.
I mean, I'm a fan. I can definitely see someone being a fan of Liquid,
yeah,
or C9.
Of course, they're going to win. These are winning. Well, they are. People are
Fnatic,
fans.
G2. Like, I can see someone being a fan of those orgs.
There's great narratives there. It's like Fnatic, you're the G2 haters.
Great storylines, great players, a lot of history. Like, you can see it. Even like from the owner's perspective, I love Steve, Liquid Steve, and C9 Jack and Reggie, and like I love them. Carlos from G2, they're cool. Like I can see following them. Like I'm a fan of G2. I love G2.
You're sometimes you're a fan of the team because of the owner.
Yeah.
Like people love Jack, and also
history,
they have bigger brands than the players themselves.
Literally,
So
So it's a little bit concerning, but we'll probably talk about this more extensively I think we should dedicate at some point, Nathan, an entire podcast episode to esports business.
Okay, great.
So I don't think we go in it any more from now, but I think we definitely touch on that in the future.
Yep.
Was there anything else you wanted to?
So then obviously Doublelift retiring. We want to talk about that one.
Yeah, Doublelift.
So I guess he retires because the roster, just TSM sounds like they've been struggling in the off season.
Yeah,
Huni move.
So what do we know so far? We know Huni, TSM Huni.
Yeah.
We know Speaker. We know Power of Evil. I think it's going to be lost.
Yeah, because they'll get lost now.
They'll get lost.
Because what happened, they denied the trade to EG because it was meant to be like a package deal or something like that.
Right.
They denied.
Oh, with Ignar?
Yeah.
Is it going to be... Was it Ignar? I don't know.
I can't remember. No, I think it was Huni. Actually, but then it doesn't make sense because he's on the team.
Who he?
No, Huni.
He was going to go to EG.
Wait, was Huni on EG? No, he was on EG, wasn't he?
Right.
He went from Dignitas to EG.
Right. I actually can't remember.
We can't even remember. Anyway, there's some sort of thing that went through.
But they'll definitely get lost. And then support, who knows?
We don't even know. So again, I think
they were going to get Sword Art. That fell through. They were going to
Yeah.
get that Vietnamese support palette. And then that fell through.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to find a support. I mean, I'm just looking at it. And I'm like, okay, yes, the roster's okay. Coaching staff's okay. But is that team going to beat C9?
No, no way.
Is that team going to beat Liquid?
No, they're a third, fourth place team.
It'd
have to be a pretty big upset.
I mean, maybe that's what TSM are after. Maybe they're going through a building phase as well. But, it's not... anything's possible. They could really just have a very clear identity as a team, where the Power of Evil is like the supportive mid laner, control mage player, and then Huni's on the carries, and then Speaker plays through topside, and Lost plays defense. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's possible.
Potential there.
There's potential.
Yeah, his support will be super interesting. I think that's interesting.
But Doublelift.
So he's ending his career going 0-6 at Worlds. Will he be back? Because he said he's sort of retired before.
I can't see him going back.
Just going streaming, just going down that route.
Take the easy route, go down the streaming route.
Yeah.
He might go... What would he do? I mean, he can't just stream forever. Like, what are you going to do, dude?
I don't know.
Like, he has to...
He probably wouldn't be a coach. He's probably not interested in...
No, I can't see
going
him
down the coaching route.
Who knows, man? It'll be interesting to see where he is.
Just the end of the legacy there.
And, you wanted to talk about that point, right?
Yeah, there was a Reddit post.
Right.
Yeah, again, going back into the...
I mean, what was weird to me, though, that Doublelift said he was, like... From what we heard on social media was that he was considering to continue playing if he got like a world-class support. Is that weird to you?
Yeah, that's not the...
That's just a strange mentality to me. Like, you're either playing, you're all in, or you're not.
You're not, yeah.
Like,
he's sort of like thinking like, if this doesn't happen, then I'm done.
Like the fact that like you're thinking like
you're
that,
not
he
in
was never
control.
going to perform with that support no matter what.
That's right, yeah.
If like you have that mentality.
He's not all in anymore.
You got to be all in.
Yeah, so there's this posting on Reddit. Someone concerned that because Doublelift and Bjergsen's departure, it questions the longevity of the esport.
Right.
Obviously, these are two of the biggest. They were literally two of the biggest names in NA.
Yeah.
The most storied players, most successful players, really. Gone, bam, and his fear was that it's going to hurt NA so much to the point where NA might just suddenly just become relevant because they're not. No one follows them for the. I mean, people follow them for always the performance. Like, will NA do it this year? But now that the fact that personalities are just disappearing like this, what's the reason to watch NA?
So you're saying that there is a possibility that a lot of the people who watched the NALCS was doing it for the players rather than the teams.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know that team players are fans. Fans of players are fans.
No, fans are or people. Wait, fans are fans of.
Yeah, fans are fans of
fans
players,
of players, not teams.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't think that's 100% true though.
Yeah.
I think across the board, like if you were to generalize, who are people more of a fan of a player, or are they more of a fan of a team? I would say players, yes.
Yeah.
But like Rekkles and Caps, all these players, and like you said, Perkz and Doublelift. But at the same time, I think there are a lot of fans of Fnatic. There are a lot of fans of TSM. There are a lot of fans of C9 and things like that. So it'll be interesting. I mean, you can't say it won't have an effect on the viewership, and you can't say it won't have effect on those brands, especially TSM, right? I mean, Doublelift not playing anymore. Perkz is not playing mid lane anymore. Like, there is going to be a drop, but I don't think it's going to be significant, personally. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. And you made an interesting point before off the recording about the amount of players that aren't on teams.
Yeah, I literally wrote down a list. So I got this from Travis's video.
Travis
Gafford, about the amount of players that aren't in LCS. And again, this is talking about not even the longevity of, potentially of the esport, but also of your careers, right? And look at this crazy list, man, honestly.
All right, so what is this list?
This is a list of players that don't have teams.
And they were in the league last season.
Yeah.
So they were previously in the NALCS in Season 10.
Yeah.
And now they don't have a team.
They don't have a team.
Okay.
Sneaky, Ruin, Hornsar, Soloq, Biofrost, Deathly, Wiggly, Cody Sun, Golden Glue, Roma, obviously Oastperson, we know, Zazel, Contracts, Meteos, Doublelift, Fake God, Apollo, Xmithy, Viper, and Froggen.
Sneaky wasn't in a team, was he?
No, you remember he took off a year, remember?
Yeah, so he's the only one in that roster that didn't have a team.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that's right, yeah.
So
well, he's like a big name.
All right, so he just put him in there.
Yeah.
So apart from Sneaky, all those players were in the NALCS.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how many is that? It's roughly, 20? Roughly?
Yeah, 15.
15-ish?
15.
20? That's a lot of players that don't have teams.
It's almost half the league. It's a third of the league gone.
And all these people were likely on huge salaries. We're talking like 300,
Yeah, with someone like Xmithy. I mean, think about that, going from winning Liquid to, I mean, he had a pretty rough year with Mortals to now out of the league.
I mean, it's pretty fascinating, eh?
What does that mean?
What does this mean? Yeah, what does this mean for esports? It was actually interesting. There was a post on my Discord in the Broken by Concept discussion channel, and he said he had done some research, and this has been kind of proven scientifically, is that in terms of reaction times, they don't even start decreasing until like late 24, 25. So most people are gonna and their brain is still developing, so they're at peak performance around 25. That's when you are going to be at peak performance. And many players are retiring at the age of 22, 23, or they're not getting teams at 22, 23.
Yeah.
That just shows how much the mental side of the game is impacting these players, and there's something going wrong with the development. Because there's no way. This is what is strange, Nathan. If you think about this comparatively to other sports, if you have a 2, 3, 4 year lead over another player, if you work hard, it should be basically impossible for someone to overtake you. Your mechanics don't drop that much, and it's even proven. Your reaction times don't drop that much. And again, this is not me. This is what someone in the Discord said. So you can maybe back me up in the comments if this is or isn't true. But isn't that just strange?
Maybe. So there's a couple of aspects.
Why is
of
it
this.
the case? Is this burnout? Is this just burnout?
I think it was burnout, but I also think it's poor management and lack of development. Because remember, I mean, we always saw this mindset because esports has been around for so short time. everyone's short-term thinking, right?
It's win the next year, right?
Yeah, or if you don't win, you're focused on all the problems and they're just unfixable, so you just have to start from scratch because there's too much player beef or something like that, this player hates this player so much. And I mean, because at the end of the day, the rosters really are controlled by the players, I think, still.
Definitely.
You know?
Okay, let me.
Okay, more in the lower tier teams than the higher tier teams, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess not, because Jensen was threatening to leave Liquid if he didn't get a good roster.
Right.
Doublelift didn't. He left because.
But Bwippo wanted a roster, but he didn't get the roster he wanted. But he's just playing it anyway because he was locked in with a contract. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
From what I heard on that interview with Thorin.
Yeah.
But what's interesting? This could be actually. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. It just came out to my mind. We know this. We've been in the building phase of a team. At the beginning of the year, you don't really get much time to focus on yourself. I mean, you do, but there's a massive portion of it is like working on the team aspect.
Yeah.
Because you're literally just 5 individuals.
Getting to know the team, how everyone plays.
Yeah, you got to understand everything about your teammates. You learn about how the communication within that team is going to work, your team's identity. Like, there are so many aspects, like from a team's perspective, that needs to be covered and refined before you get to a decent level, that it's overwhelming. But let's just say, like you said, a player goes on a completely different roster every single year for 3-4 consecutive years. Maybe that's having an effect on that player's ability to focus on themselves. Compare that with a new player who for 3-4 years is only focusing on themselves as an individual. They don't have to worry about learning about their team identity, the communication style, anything. They're just going straight from Soloq, individual performance, bang, straight into a team. Versus a player, you know, that has had to waste a lot of hours and a lot of just raw thinking power on just team-oriented
Well, that's
stuff.
why I think players get stuck in academy and become Western Academy, because they're pushed this whole team thing all the time and they're not focusing on themselves and they get stuck in academy forever.
I think right now, some players will get worse in academy. That will be the case. But I don't think that will be the case long term. I think it will get solved. I think with time, we're going to figure out how to develop players. Maybe some orgs are doing it better than others. I mean, from what I can tell, you know, there's some orgs that have their team next to their academy team in the same building as the main team, and they know how to integrate them well. I think obviously C9 Academy have done a really good job of that. They have a proven record of developing players within the C9 Academy.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. There's a lot of other orgs that probably make players worse, potentially make players worse. So, I mean, yeah, it just always fascinates me. It's like, dude, you're like getting replaced as a 22, 23-year-old guy who's been in the league for a few years. Given your experiences and how long you've been playing the game, it doesn't make sense to me that a 19-year-old or 18-year-old kid can come in and replace you. Or it's even a 20-year-old person with 2 or 3 years less experience. Your mechanics shouldn't have dropped off by now. And this is where the burnout thing comes into play. Maybe they've played for so long, they've pushed themselves, they've been mentally just fucked up in those team houses, like getting so much conflict, they just lost confidence.
Yeah.
Like, we know this.
Yeah, we know
Players get worse throughout the course of a split sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's why we actually did this in Direwolves once, where we had so much conflict where we just stopped comms.
Yeah.
No comms.
Yeah.
Let's just play the game as 5 individuals.
Soloq.
Play Soloq within this scrim, and we'll perform better sometimes.
Yeah, we did. We literally performed better sometimes.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Because it just shows that the negative effect a team environment can have if not properly managed.
Yeah.
And we know this, how
right.
poorly they're managed.
Yeah.
Even from what I've heard.
Well, I
Still.
mean, again, because the coaches are gone, dude. They don't even have time to give a chance to even properly manage, to even develop the skills to properly manage a team, because it's like coach comes in, team
Bang.
explodes, coach gone.
Yeah.
Now he goes back and then he goes, coach goes in, team explodes, unless they win. Unless they win, that's the only time where everyone's like, oh, that means you're a good coach. You won. You can stick around because you know how to manage conflict, but you're winning the whole time.
It's
so
just
you're all good.
so sad.
It's like,
Okay, think about this from FlyQuest perspective.
Yeah.
FlyQuest got that Curry guy, right?
Yeah.
Now that Curry guy, so he went from TSM assistant coach. I don't know what he did in between there, but then he went to head coach of FlyQuest. Boom, he leaves FlyQuest back to assistant coach.
I mean, but why is there boom? They came second, man.
Okay, exactly. So they came second.
Okay, well, what boomed was they couldn't afford to keep their roster. So
Something like that. All I'm saying that as an organization, your key coaching staff member with all of the knowledge that he has is just gone. What the fuck?
you're starting from scratch again, man.
You're just starting from scratch.
Everyone,
again.
I love
What's
it.
the point?
Everyone's like,
what's the actual point of the team?
everyone's always like, oh, we're in rebuilding phase again. The fact that you can go from, everyone goes from like, so I think at FlyQuest and Golden Guardians went, because you can't even say rebuild it. Like, so let's say they built up those rosters. So they built both those rosters at the beginning of last year, right?
Right.
And then they had no intention of rebuilding the next year. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have been thinking,
Like,
in
we're gonna
2020,
rebuild
we have to
again.
rebuild. They're forced to rebuild.
They're just forced
Because
to
of
rebuild.
the unstable economics
Because
of
the
the
economics,
thing, of the league. Because, again, like, coaches just... Well, let
Like,
me just...
what the hell, man?
You know, like, it's...
Like,
and-
it just makes me question, what's the goal of the organization at the most fundamental level? Like, what are you trying to achieve?
well, they're trying to win, but they're getting screwed by all aspects, all
I don't
ends.
think their actions don't match with their
Okay, maybe.
words.
What type of actions are you talking about?
You can't say you're trying to win and then you just change like all this shit.
Well,
You
but
just
you
change
can't...
coaching staff.
You can't, because you can't afford to keep them, Curtis, because the economics is so unstable. Compared to, like, traditional sports, where, like, the economics
You
aren't that
figure out a
different.
way. You figure out a financial incentivization, or you figure out a way to keep some of the coaching staff at least, even if you have to drop the players. That's why I don't mind Golden Guidance, because at least they kept the coaching staff.
Like a Nero and
Actually, Raz is gone,
Okay.
but he was in academy. I think it was
Yeah.
Nero and Choo Choo's were the main coach, so they're staying. So that's good. I think that's good. I mean, that's props to them. I think that's a good move. And the roster disappearing, you know, it's not the end of the world. Like, you can kind of see but at least they're at least halfway there. That's actually pretty solid to me.
Yeah.
But then some other orgs like FlyQuest, their roster's exploding, and
Like Dignitas, like
fuck me,
Immortals.
I'm not trying to be pessimistic here. I'm just really trying to see what's at play here, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really.
Well, now that comes into question as well. It's like, especially, okay, if you're an NA player, we have some players that want to become pro players on our, you know, that listen to our podcast that ask questions, right? Okay. Like, I was looking at it before. I think it's either just 50% or over half of the players in the LCS aren't even NA, like, not talking about residents, like Sven becoming an EUS, like NA people.
NA. Yeah,
So
probably
you-
NA.
so
How
let's
many
say
are
that-
there? There's probably like
There's
barely
like
any.
25 or 20 to 25,
Just a
right?
tiny amount.
So if you're trying to be a pro player,
Yeah.
you have, of the 3 million people, how many people play on NA? I think it's like 2 million ranked players, something like that. You need to be, of the 20 people, and then you're competing with other people who roll, it's like 4 people. You're competing. Like, think about the odds. There was a really good video. I think it was actually by Travis Gafford saying he was comparing how hard it was to be an NFL player and an LCS pro, and it was harder to be an LCS
Yeah, it's
pro.
harder. It's harder. It's harder to be an LCS pro, yeah. But you do have to consider, you can still make a pretty good living and have a pretty good experience being both a collegiate player.
Yeah.
I mean, we know. I've known players now that are going picked up in collegiate teams that are having their full scholarship paid.
Yeah. That's true. There is benefits to
Accommodation,
that. Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
the entire your study, your accommodation and food, all paid for. Like, that's a cost of like $100,000 in some situations. So that's a pretty good deal, man.
That's pretty cool.
Like, if you're a challenger player and you're a young kid, you get a full college.
Yeah.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah.
So I would say that is huge. And then even academy, dude. I probably shouldn't disclose what people are getting paid, but it's good money. Definitely good money. You know, it's 6 figure. We're talking 6 figures for some academy.
So maybe
players.
are you grouping up an amateur player in as a League of Legends player is about the same as an NFL player anyway? I guess it is, isn't it?
So what I'm saying is that we shouldn't just look at the actual NALCS as the only jobs available as a pro player.
Yeah.
All the collegiate teams, which the collegiate's only going to grow. The grassroots programs are only going to grow.
So
Like,
maybe there needs to be more focus on college.
I think collegiate and
level.
academy are awesome, and I think that's going to be the future of NA. It's less about the NA. Like, yes, NALCS is going to be the most competitive league that they have, but it's kind of like college and like college basketball and college football. It's huge
It's
in
huge.
America.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're not sticking
Like,
around there.
People do,
years.
dude. People do.
What players? They're there for
stick
years.
they're there for years in college.
Okay, interesting.
And people follow college. Some people follow college just as much as they follow NFL.
Yeah.
Or the NBA. So, yeah, dude, I think that there are a lot of opportunities. I'm not saying it's not hard. It's still bloody hard. But anyway.
If you're in EU, you got a much better chance because EU barely import players.
Well, EU's grassroots is a little bit weirder.
Yeah,
it seems
EU's
a bit
weird.
messed up.
EU's more like you just become a pro player instantly, dude.
And there are so many good players.
If you're in Challenger, dude, you're just like instantly like because there's so many spots available.
Dude, EU is terrifying to me. I actually get intimidated thinking about EU.
EU really
Just because like
They
they're
use
so
Soloq?
big, the server is so big.
Yeah, it is. There's so many
And
players.
there are
much
so many
talent.
young prodigies.
Yeah.
Like there's one of the guys on my Discord was talking about one of the EU mid laners, and he's a 16-year-old challenger player, and he got I can't quote what rank he got, but he got like top 5 or something.
Oh my god.
Like he's a 6.
That's awesome. That's insane.
And his win rates are insane.
Yeah.
Like on so many champions. Not a one trick. He plays like a lot of champions.
Yeah.
He had like a 70% win rate on Syndra or Kiana, then a 65 on Syndra, then a 60 something on Yone. Like this guy's a beast, dude, and he's just good. And he's just on a random team. Like
just in EU Masters or something.
Yeah, not even, I think. Yeah, something like that. Some shitty German team, I think. You know, there are some brilliant players out there dying to go pro. And so if you're an NA, you have a much higher chance of having a career as a player rather than being an EU.
You think so? Because you have all the options. Again, I didn't think about the academy and the college year. Yeah.
So I don't know what it's going to look like. I mean, it's still there. It exists. The academy leagues exist. But I think it has a long way to go. It has a long way to go. Anyway, interesting topic that we kind of move on from this one.
Yep, the esports being pro players and stuff.
Yep. So, okay, this is something might be just a quick short one, but I just found it interesting. Again, one of the guys in my Discord, he spoke about, are there any possible ways to create psychological advantages in a game? And it got me thinking, you know how like in traditional sports, say basketball, like you can say things or act in a way to like create psychological, like you can play in a way or say things or do things to create a psychological advantage. Remember how Michael Jordan used to say, like, if I try really hard for the first like half, or was it Kobe Bryant? Yeah, Kobe Bryant. I try really hard for the first like half, use all my energy, but I demoralize the opponent, they're never going to win. But that wouldn't work for all teams because some teams were really resilient and they would play better in the second half. So it got me thinking, for mid lane anyway, I mean, people talk about emotes, and people always use emotes in a very like, you know, people kind of meme with them. It's like, I'm going to flash this, like, but I actually think you could maybe use some emotes in a very good way.
Let's think about it.
And it has affected me at times.
Yeah.
And I've had to mute them. And the fact that I've had to mute them means they're in my head.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so I mean, you got to communicate, right? So it's like either all chat.
Yeah, all chat or with emotes.
Or with emotes. I mean, the way you play...
There's things you can do the donuts. Remember I spoke about doing the donuts in the lane to show people how good you are micro-wise at the beginning of the game.
Clicking super
I
fast.
used to get scared against mid laners that did that. When I first Claire, one of the mid laners in our server, he was a high elo player and pro player. And he used to do that. And I was like, far out. This guy's got good micro. Like, I know this guy's good. Like, just by the way he was clicking.
This guy's going to be dodging my skill shots, man.
I would say that... like you're right. I mean, outside of that, it's pretty hard. I mean, you can also like... dance on someone's corpse when you kill them. You can like...
But you barely do that because that's inefficient. You got to do shit. Come on.
Emotes are probably one of the only ways. Or all chat. Question mark.
Yeah.
Like a question mark ping.
Yeah. You mean a question mark like you type all chat? Type all chat question mark.
After you kill someone. That's what does it. I mean, that gets in your head. Regardless, like you're a dick.
Yeah.
But it's an advantage.
It is.
We're talking just objectively.
Because then that person will probably try and like go for it.
Yeah, they're gonna get angry. And as long as you're level-headed.
Yeah, they're emotional. They're making decisions.
I mean, if I was a random average Soloq player that didn't have aspirations of like going pro, and just wanted to be a high elo player, I would probably do that.
Yeah.
I can't really do it because I have an image.
Wait, so you think it affects you?
I mean, doing it high elo to a pro player, people. I mean, we know this, Nathan.
Yeah.
Becoming a pro player or a college or an academy player, it's about reputation. It's who you know, not what you know.
Yeah.
We know this.
Yeah.
It's
like players talk about it's like, oh, he's toxic or something like that.
Yeah, it's like whose dick can you suck harder, you know?
I mean, is it really? Because if you're an insane player and you do that, people are like, I want to play with that guy because he's passionate about the game.
I think it's obviously if you're like a top 5 ranked Soloq player, yes. But if you're anything below that,
yeah, but you got to get there in the first place, right? What if you were climbing with that sort of, you know? That bravado. Yeah. That confidence.
It's something to think about. I mean, I might try it more. Maybe I can try using emotes more. See what happens. But again, I just don't want to piss off people.
Why? Get rank 1, Curtis, man. Come on, let's go.
I actually am going for rank 1 next season.
Curtis, and I just got a challenger first, so I'll be trying to gatekeep you on that one.
I'm genuinely going to go for rank 1. All right. And then changed my name to Coach Curtis YouTube or YouTube.
Yeah, for advertisement.
Advertise my YouTube. YouTube Coach Curtis. But anyway, I think that is emotes and all chat are largely like they're not explored. Now you're not going to say anything toxic like hi you're trash, right? But I think there are things you can say to really get in their head whether it's question marks, whether it's emoting on their corpse, whether it's just after they miss a skill shot, use an emote. Like, that actually happened to me. I've versed players that do that sort of thing where, like, you take a bad trade, then they emote. Or, like, you do something bad and, like, you're already pissed off at yourself and then they emote. And it's like... And the fact that they've dragged your attention away, because we know this. All it takes is one misslip, like, slipping up in terms of your attention, focusing on the wrong areas, or you forget your train of thought or whatever it was. That can be the difference between warding on that wave where you wouldn't have warded.
Missing the tracking of the jungler.
Yeah, not looking at the minimap when you would have otherwise looked at the minimap. The smallest little leads. Now, yes, this unlikely will drastically change your rank, but it could be the difference between winning those really, really close games. Because we know how fragile everyone is. I literally had someone in my Discord say, I get tilted off a question mark.
Yeah.
Someone said that in my Discord. Said, if someone question marks me, I'm out of the game.
Yeah.
Unironically.
Yeah, people are fragile, Curtis, in Soloq. I mean, I see it every day in my Soloq games. It's like, I'm not ganking your lane. I refuse to win this game because I can't play weak side.
Yeah. And this ties in directly. I'll do one other point before I let you, so I don't take over the podcast here.
Okay.
So I had someone who I had to temporarily ban from my Discord because he was quite negative.
Yeah.
The way he was talking about teammates on his team.
Yeah.
Saying things like, my teammates are animals. He said, like, I already warned him because he was like, just the way he was talking about his teammates, just always flaming like people on his teammates.
It's not the attitude you want.
It's not the attitude. Take responsibility. I want people in my Discord there to learn, not to go and just complain.
Yeah.
Look at this game. Look at my idiot teammates. And then I saw him say, like, he said, look at my effing animal teammates. And I just banned him, right? And then he DM'd me and he said this. How do you even have fun when losing? How do you not get angry when someone isn't performing? I just can't fathom it. And it got me thinking, right? I was like, okay, let's hear him out. I mean, let's just really think about this before I really reply.
Yeah.
And my reply, I don't have it written down what my reply was exactly, but it was along the lines of, for me personally, I don't complain about my teammates because I just know how bad I am. Like, I can't bring myself to abuse or
you don't even have a right.
I don't have the right to do that because I compare myself to, like, okay, some of the pro players on my server, like mid laners that have now gone to NA, that are just so much better than me. There's some of the other mid laners, like, you just look at like Caps, I look at like Dopa, Showmaker. I look at these players, they have the right to say that, not me. Not me at all. I'm not even close. My standard on myself is so high that it's disgusting. I can't imagine doing that because I know how bad I am, which ties me into the thing is, like, these players generally you very rarely see this sort of thing from like high challenger players. You do occasionally, but I would say majority of the time it's from silver, gold, and like all the way to like D4. You get the most toxic players, right? And I think it's all ego. They are unaware of how much they have to go. Like, they are unaware of how bad they are comparatively. Like, they think that they're so fucking good. They think like, oh yeah, I'm platinum 4 and these gold players are trash. I'm gold and these silver players are trash.
It's
like this deserving thing. They think they deserve something that they think they deserve to be better or not in these games with these players. That's what the way they view it is. I'm here, my teammates are down there, but that's just not the case at all.
Well, this is the nature of League of Legends, though, Curtis, is because this is what happens in their head, okay? Remember how we say that sometimes these players can play much significantly higher than their level? Okay? So they're playing higher than their level, which means in aspects, right? And so, let's say they hard carry a couple of games. Like, I just don't do this. This is just, I should be, so hard, so easy. But that's what creates your rank, your inconsistencies. Because then you're suddenly playing 3-4 levels below because you're coin flipping things, your fundamentals are bad.
So you have these high highs with really low lows, but you only look at the high highs.
You only look at the high highs.
You don't look at the low lows.
Well, the low lows, then you just blame them on your teammates because you're like, I had that high.
Yeah, that means I'm good.
That means because I was capable of that.
Yeah.
And so then I'm doing this. I must be in my team or something like that. Like that, it actually makes sense if you think about it.
It does make sense. It does.
Because I mean, there's probably players that make challenger level plays or play perfectly in brief moments of the game.
Definitely.
They're like, oh well, like I can be a challenger level player. It's like a challenger player.
Yeah, they could play this trade like flawlessly, like the way Dopa would have played that trade.
But a challenge level player does that consistently all the time.
Every minute of every second of every game.
That's right.
That's what they do. That's their level of play.
Yeah.
You can't do
Which
that.
makes their rank.
Which makes their rank.
But you can do it sometimes, or you could be super focused.
Yeah.
But you're not doing it consistently enough over a long period of time.
And part of it is like you don't know what you don't know. You know, that's what my channel, what I'm hoping to show is that this is what exists out there. And this is what you need to do what you need to know and what you need to execute upon every game.
Well, you can just show
play at the highest level.
This is what a challenger player does. This is what I go for a VOD review of what a silver, gold, platinum player does or something like that, or diamond.
Yeah.
It makes sense why you're there, man. Like, there's a lot of inconsistencies here.
It's a combination of, I would say, ego, like you said, looking at the high highs, not the low lows. And we spoke about that, I believe, on the other one, right? Where the low lows exist because they've only focused on learning new things, not improving their weaknesses. So they have that huge spectrum of possible gameplay, right? They have that huge spectrum. You want to make that spectrum as small as possible, where you're only playing at a certain level. Like your low is actually not that low. Maybe like when you lose a game, you don't int. Maybe you like just make a few mistakes. Like you don't make the super basic mistakes. And if you want to know how low your lows are, you want to know what your weaknesses are, look at how you die. The quality of your death tells a lot.
Absolutely.
How do you die?
Yeah.
What is happening when you die?
Yeah.
Do you die in a really sloppy way where like, you just have no idea where the jungler is and you're just trading like an animal? Or do you die because you know where the jungler is, but you think you can like do an outplay 2v1 and you're limit testing? That's a good way to die. You're pushing your limits. You actively knew and processed all the information, but you just misexecuted. That's a good death. Or another good death would be you actually tracked the enemy jungler, but then the jungler did a very creative path and you didn't expect it, and then you got ganked.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I love that word, good death. This is a good death.
It's a good death.
I got outplayed.
Or outplayed. You get outplayed.
Or the other thing as well is I had all the information. I made a really good decision, but I misexecuted.
Like I had a game on stream the other day, right? It was a shocking game. I played Fizz into Lucian. I got dominated. I was okay with it. He outplayed me.
Yeah.
I didn't say, oh yeah, this guy's trash, or I'm trash. No, well, I'm learning Fizz. I'm having a go. This is the first time I've played this matchup from the Fizz side. And I learned a lot. And he tethered me really well, and I know this is what I should do next time. I didn't tilt. I was like, this is what it is. I look embarrassed. It looks a bit embarrassing in front of 400 viewers, but it is what it is. It happens.
Yeah.
I have and when I'm learning a new champion, I can't expect to be playing at this level on a champion I'm learning. Right? So it's okay. My deaths made sense. It made sense why I got outplayed. I don't understand the intricacies of that matchup. So I think there is a lot going on here with ego, with all this stuff. But it was interesting to just like digest it rather than just write it off. It's just like you're
banned. See you later.
Yeah, rather than just you're banned. See you later. Let's hear him out. Let's see what he has to say. Like surely there's something here that we can learn and take away from it. And it's a temporary ban. Like he can come back in like a week. But I wanted just to reflect on it, and hopefully he's watching this.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, like, I am so passionate about helping people improve at League because it's the skills you develop during this process of discipline,
controlling your emotions,
getting into the review, learning how to learn,
taking responsibility.
It's just a flow and effect through life. That's it. And looking past the short term to the long term. Yeah, that's a big one. That's probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
It's not about what happens.
It's not about these 5 games. It's about how do these 5 games impact 100 games.
Yep. And how those 100 impact 1,000.
That's right.
That's right. Anyway, before I take over the podcast, you can share one of your topics.
Well, it's such a good segue, Curtis, because my little bone to pick is just the little amount. I've been looking at some OPGGs because I've suddenly done like a review request submission.
Okay.
So people can like submit to my channel. I'm doing a free review request at the moment. People send me the OPGGs and stuff. Yep. And there's not a lot of ranked games going on in Season 11 preseason, man. Like, so I'm trying to like emphasize like this point. What are you going to do? It's like preseason. Like, okay, maybe like taking your time and chilling like December, I'll pick it up. But it's like, if you don't do that as well, what are you going to do? Just Season 11 starts and then you're suddenly learning Season 11 when Season 11.
Yeah. So what are people doing?
Well, just relaxing, man.
So what, you mean they're playing norms?
Yeah, well, Flex. Flex is the biggest one.
So they're just playing Flex.
Can you improve in Flex? Is that a good test location?
I actually think you can learn champions in Flex. If you're learning champions, I think it's actually completely fine. But if you're playing your main champions in Flex, it's a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like, why not just go into ranked?
Yeah.
I mean, I think people are just terrified of losing MMR for some weird reason.
Yeah, well, because they think, well, I'm not fully capable of learning the games. I don't understand the game. Like, I'm going to verse players who've been spamming games, and they're going to just beat me. You know, it's like, sure, but you got to learn it eventually anyway, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
like the way that I view it, if I got an OPGG and someone played 200 games of season 11, of the preseason, and they've lost like 3 divisions, I feel like that player is going to easily climb back up and he'll be good.
Easily.
Like, that's what I want to see,
Yeah.
And that guy's ready for season 11. I reckon he's going to be set up for success.
It just depends on what you're trying to get out of season 11, though,
Yeah,
not everyone wants to,
it's your goals and stuff, right? And
it's your
like
goals.
That.
Ties into your goal. I think if you want the max amount of results in season 11, you shouldn't be dicking around.
But I'm seeing like 3-4 games in a week of ranked.
Right, so just no games.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing,
Well, as a floor effect, and this kind of ties into your point, do you think it's possible to create bad habits through playing normals?
Of course.
Do you think you can actually just like go backwards?
Yeah, you go backwards because what happens is that you're playing the same map, same environment, same jungle path and everything like that, right? If you start training your brain to be lazy in this environment, it's going to same reflect in your ranked games, right? Like humans are very good. It's like you walk into, let's say you have a job, right? This is I thought about the philosophy around when we got the office. We went from gaming house to office, right? You're in the home, you're just relaxing on your home computer. In the office, you go there to work, okay? I like to view the Summoner's Rift as my work area, okay? This is where I do my work.
Right.
So if I suddenly play normal games, I'm treating my work area as a fun weekend chill zone.
Well, I think normals are fine in moderation.
Sure.
And but I think if you're learning a new champion as well, it kind of breaks that cycle because you're doing it with something new. But if you're doing it with your main champion, that's where problems form.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you should either play a completely different role or a completely different champion.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I remember we used to say like pro players, they go from playing like Path of Exile or like Overwatch, the next second they're going into ranked Soloq or like their scrims. And then they get off of it, watch YouTube, go on Facebook, whatever they do, play another game, then go back onto. It's like you're literally not moving. There's no separation from game time, full intensity performance to practice and just dicking around.
Yeah, your brain can't.
It's very difficult to distinguish.
It's like getting dopamine and stuff. It's like, oh shit, now I've got to focus, try utilizing brain power, like utilizing energy.
That's why I'm so passionate about breaking up your rank games into blocks and like
focus times. Where your brain's like, so every day, your brain's like, okay, well, it's focus time.
It's focus time. Boom. These 3 games. This period of 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
Boom. That's it. And then at least then it's easier to switch on and switch off. Like you give your brain time. It's hard to go from back and forth. That's what's really difficult.
Yeah, alt tabbing YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah, but I think you make a good point, dude. I mean, I think it's just a time for introspection. I think that they should consider what they're trying to get out of
season 11. What does their season 11 look like? Do you want to, again, hit your goals?
What sort of results do you want to get? Yeah, definitely.
Because the way that I view it is people going to the effort to record their game, submit it to me, right? And then, like, again, the OPGG is not many games. Like, it sounds like they're pretty motivated to improve.
Oh, so they're actually getting reviews from you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You should not be getting a review if you're not actively going to play ranked. Because you can't implement the learnings.
That's right. Exactly right.
That's it.
Even I could give you this information that literally gets you instantly in a challenger. Is impossible because you can't execute on it.
And because the games are completely different in normals.
Yeah.
That's the other thing you have to remember. And in flex, because they're not actually trying.
Yeah.
So things work that shouldn't work. And people's awareness is just down.
That's
their
right.
intensity
You want to
is
make
down.
sure
The matchup will literally be played differently.
You're getting challenged to your current skill level players because that's why the ranking system is so good. You're playing against players the same skill level, right? That's the best environment. Ranked solo is the best environment to improve at the end of the day.
Yep. Fascinating. There was one guy actually brought up about, you know how we had that C9 Academy versus SKT debate?
Yeah.
His theory is why we were having such a big discrepancy in opinion was that we weren't identifying the variables at play.
Yeah, I think so as well. I have in my mind, that's why I'm starting to lean towards, because I understand your variables a little bit more.
For me, let's clarify this.
Yeah.
These are the way I was envisioning it, was they had never versed each other before.
Yeah.
What patch, and this is interesting because then what patch are we playing on? You know, are we playing on Summoner's Rift in Season 3?
Yeah, that was my mindset.
Are we playing Summoner's Rift now?
Yeah, in Season 3.
Right, so that's weird because C9, the game's changed so much. Like the way jungle camps, the most efficient jungle path.
That's why that's in my mind. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, you've seen an academy playing SKT on the patch is what season 3 was like. I can't see it being a stomp as much as you say. They might be close, but again,
No, but that's unfair. It's unfair to say though because they literally don't know how to play that game.
Okay,
Like, things literally
so maybe
change. Like Rift Herald doesn't exist. Like they're gonna load up into that game and be like, "Holy shit!" Like there's no Gromp.
Yeah, so look at the flip side then, Curtis. Maybe this conversation is completely irrelevant.
Yeah, maybe it just doesn't work.
Because then it's like, well, if they play on this, how can they understand?
Okay, well, no, I reckon
like
if C9 Academy had like 5 games,
yeah,
they could just play 5 ranked games or 5 normals on that Rift, they would win.
Okay.
Okay, let's say C9 Academy go back in time.
Yeah.
To
season 3.
Yeah. They're allowed to play, let's say, 10 normal games just to get used to the Summoner's Rift, the jungle pathing and everything. It's like 10 normal games. And, well, okay, what about then? And they'd never scrimmed each other?
Yeah.
At all.
I actually don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. It's like, I can't say it's convincing either way on the other. Maybe they'll just be pretty close. Maybe Sound Academy will slowly scrape through.
So you have Schönfire versus Bengi.
Yeah. I mean...
So you think Schönfire in Season 10
I don't know.
is going to struggle against Bengi in Season 3?
My brain hurts.
Okay, let's leave it at that one. All right, so another one. I had a few more little ones here before we go into questions.
Yeah.
A few little things.
Yeah.
Do you have questions?
Yeah, we got some questions.
A few?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do these patch note rundowns.
Yep.
And, people enjoy them.
Yeah.
They give people direction and what's strong.
Yeah.
Like the way they should interpret items, why things are strong.
Yeah.
Things like that. Now, I think that there are some people, or like a lot of people that get value. I'm going to say a lot. I'm going to say there are a lot of people that get value from those sorts of videos. Okay?
And what's the value? It's like the understanding, like what's changing.
Yeah, what's changing, how this affects the meta, the relative strength of champions. Like, it's important to understand the patches. But one of the things that I've been kind of conflicted with, and I don't know if I'm over-exaggerating this, but sometimes I feel like I'm introducing or influencing the way a silver player or a gold player is thinking about the game too much.
Yeah, so that's why I actually don't do them anymore, because it just takes away from champion mastery.
Yeah, it's taking my champion mastery. It's like it really, because I had someone today, right, and he this guy in my Discord, he always overcomplicates his pool, and he always he just thinks about, is this champion strong? He always just complains about the strength of other champions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Objectively, this champion may be just stronger on this patch, objectively. But it really does not matter. It shouldn't even be on your mind if you're in gold or silver. Just play to learn your champion. End of story. Make it work.
Because then when you learn your champion, then you can learn the game properly, because you'll less attention on the actual champion mechanics. You're learning how to play the game, map awareness, fundamentals.
Yes, and it ties into Dopa's theory. If you have champion mastery level more than 1, you'll win even matchups. Greater than 2,
That's right.
You'll win counter matchups.
Exactly
Greater than 3 champion mastery, you win. It's just unbelievably domination.
Yeah.
And it ties in directly, can contrast directly with Jebsu. So Jebsu is the ADTF challenger one trick in EU, right? Very good player. He got rank 1, by the way, last season at one point in time.
Okay.
Very good player. I believe he got rank 1, was that in season 9? Season 9 or season 10 he got rank 1. Very intelligent player. And I'm making a video that's probably going to be out in the next day or two about AP versus ADTF. So I had a big conversation with him, the way ADTF feels and things like that. And I had this conversation with him, and we're talking about ADTF. And I love the way he views the game, because he's like, he doesn't care if this is, he does care if it's optimal, but he enjoys this style more. And he's like, I can just make this work because I have confidence in my micro. This wouldn't work for the average player, but it works for me because I can, in reference to one specific aspect or a specific matchup, I can navigate it pretty easy. I don't need to take magical footwear and take boots because I just trust my micro. So the way he views the game, like he's not making up. Rather than making up excuses or trying to find reasons as to why it won't work.
He tries to figure out how to make it work.
He's trying to find reasons to make it work.
Yeah.
Or reasons why it should work.
Such a more powerful mindset.
It's a growth mindset. It's like you're looking at it's a cup half full rather than cup half empty. And I love that mentality. And he makes it work. He finds out creative ways. Like, oh, okay, if I take this rune instead in this situation, or I play the wave in this way, or I take Ignite rather than TP, like he finds out this shit that is genius, and I'm going to share it with the world. But like that wouldn't exist if he didn't have this mentality.
That's right. Yeah, that ADTF thing wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't exist
because he was the one that created it.
He's a master of it, you know. And I'm like, if people had even just like 20% of that, like if they could just, you know, if that like mentality was like a liquid and you poured like 20% of it into someone else's brain somehow, like in their ear,
yeah,
you know, like what perspective would that give? Because I have faith in humanity, dude. I think that like people have so much capability, so much potential.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm trying to get people that shed like, rather than tell them what to do, give them the tools and the perspective and the mindset so they can like, you know, work on themselves. And I think that that mentality of champion mastery is so fascinating. I love Jebsu's mentality and his mind. Really, really fascinates me. I've got one last little thing here, but I don't know if it's up to you. Should you want me to cover it?
Yeah, let's go for it, Curtis.
One quick one.
Yeah.
So I had a coaching session, I believe it was this morning with another client, and I was watching his game. It was I believe he was playing Silas into Cassiopeia. And I believe he is Diamond. Yep, Diamond 4, Diamond 3, in low Diamond range. And his goal's to get Challenger, right? And the thing with this guy, and this is very fast, this is actually probably one of the most common problems I've seen in Diamond specifically, is that at the most fundamental level, he's unable to, because most people, I don't know if you found this, people get hardcore stuck at Diamond. Like
Diamond 3, Diamond 4, yeah, they do.
They get really stuck.
I have one of my coaching clients. It's actually just mentally.
Mentally?
Shit, man.
They're in the shit.
Because getting to Diamond 3 is so difficult because they keep going up and down in consistency and like 50% win rate. It's like, it's actually brutal.
Yeah, they get stuck, man.
Yeah,
We're talking like, okay.
They're probably the most stuck players.
This guy had 1,200 games, right? Last season in like Diamond.
Yeah.
So this guy is, I would say this guy has the same problem as most people that are stuck in Diamond.
Yeah.
And the problem is, I believe, one of the problems at the most fundamental level is rather than thinking about winning the game, they think about just like winning the lane. Or just like getting a lead. Yeah. Like they're not actively trying to figure out how to win the game.
Yeah.
Because something like win conditions seems so simple. But the only reason they're not thinking about win conditions is because I believe they're not thinking about how to win the game.
Of course.
At the most fundamental, literally, they're playing a game to win, but not at the same time.
Well, all you laners love your little 1v1 stuff. I mean, as a jungler, you sort of, again...
You're kind of forced to think about the map,
You're forced to, but, you'll be surprised, guys. I mean, I did a review of a Diamond 1 player whose win condition was so incorrect. Yeah. It's almost impossible that was what he thought in the game. You know? Yeah. It's Diamond 1, man.
Yeah. You can get away with some bullshit. Yeah. Especially as a jungler, depending on the champion you play. Like, if you're playing Nunu, you can get away with anything.
Well, he was playing Nunu. He didn't get away with it.
Yeah, but I'm saying you can get away with more on a champion like Nunu than, say, Lee Sin, in my opinion.
Nunu's actually a champion's identity. You need to actually carry through laners.
Oh, really?
You need to play around the correct win condition.
What I'm saying is, like, your ganks are so good that you get ganks off that just shouldn't work.
Yeah, like, Sheb's like Hecarim and Eve and stuff like that. Yeah, you can get away with. Because you can just carry... You can mess up ganks and, like, still carry, you know?
All right, so anyway... And yes, this may seem simple, and that's not all we covered, but that was one of the things I spoke about to him, just to allow him to let that gestate. Was like, you really aren't playing to win the game, and that's fine. Maybe your attention is focused in other areas, and that's fine. We can address these other areas to free that mind, that attention, to focus it elsewhere. Because like the Dopa thing, you have 100 attention. Maybe right now he's not good enough for these champions, or he doesn't understand lane concepts enough. Where like all of his attention is being focused on the lane.
What about mechanics as well, Curtis, out of curiosity?
His mechanics seem fine.
So you think the mechanics...
Yes,
but
micro is a part of it.
fine, and sometimes it isn't good enough to get to higher diamond masters here.
I think it depends on the champ you play.
Okay.
But yes, micro is going to be an area we will work on together.
Because one of the things was my lower diamond players, like they stuff up some micro
Yeah,
things
micro.
pretty big time, which is making the game so much more difficult than they need to be.
I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I need to see more of this guy's replays.
Yeah.
But my hunch is that, like, I mean, this guy seems to be getting leads in lane often, he says. He says he's often, like, 2-0. Like, that, he said, because the only reason I'm working with him is because he sent me this essay. He's saying how, like, he showed me all these games where he's, like, gets ahead.
Yeah.
He is a master of getting ahead in the early game.
Yeah.
So he gets leads and he just doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't know why he's losing. And I just looked at it. It's like, okay, you're not thinking about what the win condition is. You get a lead. What are you going to do with it? Who's the winning side? Why are they the win condition? Okay, if they're the win condition, how are you going to play towards them? Are you going to call objectives? Are you going to play to the objectives of that side? Are you going to deep ward on that side, defend them? Are you going to push and roam onto that side? How are you going to win this game? And I believe, by the way, if you really want to carry as a mid laner, you actually have to control your jungler. You actually have to tell them what you want. Because junglers have what I've seen, junglers in Diamond have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, you got to control your laners as a jungler.
I mean, I think it's the best way to climb, as the theory is. Because if you know what you want really badly...
Like I'm like forcing my mid laner to base by like coming in with a new W to push the wave in so he gets a good base. You know what I mean? That's controlling my lane.
Yeah.
Or like I'm making sure he doesn't overextend and die.
But this is because we both believe, probably at the most fundamental level, that if you have a clear, win condition, if you have an idea about how you're going to win that game, like you are so far ahead of the enemy.
Yeah, you are.
Because no one in Diamond has a clear idea about how to win the game.
No.
Like they know how to get a kill. They know how to get a lead or get a gank or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they don't understand how to win the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was climbing, I was just powering through Diamond. I just was just winning. They're mechanically probably even or sometimes better than me. I'm just winning because I just understand how to win the game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just love that. I just love that. And it's like, just tell your jungler, like, why is your jungler, this is Juani, why are you ganking a 0-2 Jin bot into a 2-0 Vayne when you have a 1-0 Fiora into a Z top?
But did you see that specifically?
I saw that specifically.
Oh, Jesus, Curtis.
So think about this.
Send that jungler my way.
Sejuani, his bot lane was collectively between the 80 carry and support 0-3.
Yeah.
So 0-2 Jin with a 0-1 Pike into a Vayne, what was it, Vayne? It was like a really hard to gank lane. It was like Vayne something. And Sejuani had a Fiora top who was 1-0 against a Zed top with Flash Ignite who died once.
Oh, Jesus.
And Silas was 2-0 into a Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
And he ganked bot at like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they like traded 1-for-1 or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is that game? Even if you somehow, in a miracle, got that double kill bot, nothing will happen. They would lose bot still.
Yeah,
they would literally lose bot still.
Yeah, there was.
And then what happened as a result?
Yeah.
Then like he ganked bot again, and then another skirmish broke out. The Fiora TP bot got nothing. Zed got 2 plates.
Yeah.
The jungler got ripped. The jungler rifted top. Tower broke. Fiora got down 2 levels. The game exploded.
Yeah.
And what I said to the mid laner, and like, because he didn't contribute anything to pushing the pace of the game.
Yeah.
Like, you can just say, I want rift on spawn.
Yeah.
Ping, like, come top. Like, you can, like, let's dive top edge or play top side, invade that red. Like, you can do anything. Like, to just tell him. Just prevent him at all costs from going bot.
So the Sejuani probably knows not to go bot because they're autopiloting. If he was to say something, she might start thinking, it's like, oh yeah, he's actually right.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
Because he probably has no idea what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
He's actually thinking, like, I'm waiting for someone to tell me what to do.
No. I reckon they do.
They're just autopiloting.
They're autopiloting. That's what it is.
But the fact that happened, the fact that the Sejuani literally made that play, just like made my
that's what I'm saying.
explode.
Like his brain would explode reviewing that as well. I'm sure.
I don't think he had any review on that game. How many players actually review the game?
That's true.
And be like, you know what? That was my fault.
Yeah, that's true.
I should probably not do that next. Like, who's going to do that?
Or even if they do this, like they'll think about that specific skirmish. Like I could have played that better. It's such a waste of time to talk about that.
My Fiora just ruined this by TPing.
Yeah.
You know? Like some bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. I just found that funny. Anyway. Questions.
God, I love League of Legends,
Me
Curtis.
too. I love it. It gets me pumped up.
So I'll change the battery, Curtis, and then we'll get into questions.
Sounds
All right,
good.
so we'll be back in that jiffy. All right, so welcome to BBC Question Time. Nathan's mailbag. Maybe that's what we should call it, Curtis. You know how you like the
Nathan's
mailbag? Because I'm always one reading the questions.
true.
So it's like my mailbag.
Gotcha.
Or with like a little thing that comes up on the screen. Like, you remember the OPL, the Nick Boy
Yeah,
thing?
you can do that if you want to do that.
Okay, actually, we could pay someone to animate it for us. So I get
Definitely.
$100, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, Curtis, this is a podcast. This is audio.
Yeah, no one
Curtis.
even watches.
No one even watches.
Okay, no,
it.
people do watch.
Yeah,
it.
people
Stop
sit there
saying
and
that.
stare.
People
at
do
us.
stare at us.
All right, so the title of this email is called Question for Curtis and Nathan. How surprising. So this is from someone by the name of Arcblade. Big fan of the show. Keep doing what you're doing. Absolutely. We're doing another 989 episodes? 979
Yeah,
episodes.
979.
Yeah. My question is that since Alfari and Perkz are moving to NA, assuming that they are playing at a world-class level and not slacking off, as a byproduct, make other players, especially professional players, better by a lot. Always wondered because of how insanely good Alfari and Perkz are. So basically, it's asking them coming to NA, do they make the players around them better if they're playing?
I mean, the players in NA
Yeah, all the players they're playing
against.
I'd say all players. It didn't specify as just pro players. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen this kind of when I mean, we had this in Direwolves in 2017 where we had a very good roster and it kind of snowballed because it was like everyone respected each other and every player on that team was like a superstar, and because they all were working so hard, like you kind of got pressured to work hard.
Yeah, other teams were definitely working hard. That was probably OPL really stepped up.
Not only
2017
both people in the team wanted to better each other, like to get better than each other. Sorry, which was a motivating factor within the team, because like I can't like be the weak link. But then also, everyone else in scrims was like, holy shit, these guys are really good. So not only do they just learn naturally from scrims, because if you are better, you just learn from them. But yeah, you get motivated. Like, holy shit, we got to get our shit together here.
Well, also, they were motivated by us, like, trash talking as well, because we were like,
We just trash talked everyone.
So they really wanted to beat us. Not for any other reason, than they just wanted to beat us. Not because like they wanted to go to Worlds. That was obviously a byproduct, but I think the number one thing is make sure to beat Direwolves.
How fun was OPL back then, though?
That was
It
awesome.
was actually really fun.
Yeah.
OPL was awesome back then.
Yeah, 2017 was an awesome year.
It was really good.
Yeah. I mean, we can say that because we went to like Brazil and
No,
all
but
these
like the
clutches
actual
and
state of the
Rekkles.
competition and stuff.
Yeah,
Like, it was
it was
cool. And the
high,
content
yeah.
as well was pretty good in that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, Perkz and Alfari going over, that's going to have I think, first of all, it's going to motivate the people in NA to like get their shit together, because if I want a job, these people are in the league.
People on Cloud9, if this is their time to, you literally got one of the best players, I think the best mid laner in the West.
One of.
If you're losing with him, that's going to hurt your career. So you better work
Imagine
hard.
the pressure on Fudge.
Yeah, Fudge, yeah, exactly.
Being in that
right.
team, like Fudge is like
Even Blabber, I mean,
all of them. It's like, holy shit, I gotta perform here. We've got our org spending this money for this sort of player.
Yeah.
I gotta step up to the play. You know? But definitely, man, I think that's gonna have an effect on everyone involved in NA.
Even the players they play against.
Players they play against and the players in the team.
Maybe
sure.
Perkz he'll level up the whole mid lane pool, dude. Imagine playing against him in scrims, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next question here is from Selman, I think you pronounce his name. Hey guys, been really enjoying the podcast and had a question about tier lists. What are your thoughts on tier lists? Do you think that most champions are viable or some are just garbage? In one of your previous episodes, you guys said that any champion within the role can take you to Masters, at least. I know you guys have discussed certain players or one tricks that make champions work. What are your thoughts on this?
Definitely.
I
think nearly every champion in a role can get you to master.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever posted a tier list. Again, the same thing that we said before about patch notes.
It's not that they're not viable. It's like the effect it can have on people.
It drags your focus away. It's like you're having almost a pointless conversation. Like, what champion's better than this champion? It's like, okay, how does that affect your solo queue?
Well, I think it can. The reason it can be helpful is like what to ban.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like what to ban. Like in my video, I spoke about Victor and Akali and Kale being like Kale was ridiculous on patch 10.23.
Is it useful at all though for a bronze or a silver player?
Yeah, I mean, again, but I state this by the way in my Discord. I have 2 tier lists.
Yeah.
I have a tier list for
different elos.
I have a tier list for low elo, which takes into account champions for improvement.
Yeah.
So I put Annie at like the top.
Yeah.
Because Annie is both effective and it's really good for improvement.
Yeah.
So I have 2. So I think that's why I hate the ones that, by the way, I don't know how you can do a tier list that is just 1.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense, does it? No.
So I suppose mine is just for high elo, the
Yeah.
one I did, and objectively what the strength of champions was.
Yeah.
But I still have in my Discord one for low elo. Now, I do believe that nearly every champion in the game can get played to master tier in that role, if it's for that role. But yeah, that, after master, that's where champions do really struggle. Like, you can play Annie to master. It gets very hard to play to challenger in high level.
Yeah.
Like, it's possible. I'm not to say it's impossible, but it's very difficult. I'd say champions like Lux, the same thing. Vlad and things like that. There's certain champions that within each role or mid lane, it's very difficult. I would say, though, that, like Nathan said, I think tier list can be helpful if you view it in the right way. You shouldn't view it, I'm going to wait every week for when Curtis brings out a tier list so I can change my champion pool.
Yeah, that's right.
As long as that's not what you're doing and just trying to get more information about the game and the game pace and why things are strong, you're really just trying to increase your knowledge of the game, then that's great. But be careful with the way you use the information.
Oh, so that's a good warning. Like right now, the way my approach in my content, I'm only focusing on 3 champions at the moment: Eve, Hecarim, and Nunu. So tier list isn't even a thing right now, you know? So definitely, I'm probably going even back because, I covered every champion before, but now it's only those 3 champs. So, and just focus on jungle fundamentals and stuff. So, yeah, I think they can be useful, but I was always just scared of the silver bronze players, taking it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Especially for a jungler as well. It's like, tier lists are less for a jungle because, and I was just talking with this, I was so surprised by, so I did an interview with Hayden, who's a challenger Nunu player.
Yeah.
And there's some champions I hate versing with Nunu. And he was literally saying he doesn't really care about the jungle matchup as Nunu. And it's true to an extent, but I still didn't like versing some champs because I felt pressured to do stuff like Lilia and stuff like that. They just, I can't really get onto them properly and they just chunk me down because they just do % health damage and stuff, There is champs and Red Cane that do well against Nunu, but he really didn't care. It's like I started to think jungle. Yeah, I think
jungle matters.
I think tier list. You think jungle tier list matters?
I just think that's
low
Nunu.
elo.
I just think that's Nunu, a Nunu specific thing, because Nunu.
Maybe it's just a
Nunu can get ganks off no matter what. There are some champs if you're playing Kha'Zix and you get hard counted, or you're playing Eve and you get hard counted. Yes, to a certain extent you can make it work, but it makes the game much harder than it needs to be. From my perspective. Anyway.
If you have good jungle fundamentals, you can just avoid someone and just minimize as well, Curse. That's a great fundamental. Rather people learn than be I'm just going to play another champion until I count. Again, lower elo.
Lower elo. Yeah. Definitely. Lower elo you shouldn't matter, but in high elo,
but if I was to make a tier list for lower elo, it'd just be maybe I should. It's just Eve, Kha'Zix, assassins that can just one shot carry the game.
You should make a tier list for low elo.
Yeah.
Well, you take into account both what's effective and good for improvement.
Yeah.
You're not going to put, even if say
Shyvana and
say in
Boy.
theory Nidalee is really good in low elo just for the sake of effectiveness.
No, she's not. She's actually very.
I'm just saying, in theory, you wouldn't put it. I'd rate it way lower.
Yeah, yeah. So Nidalee would be low,
because it's not good for
or
improvement at all. People just can't play it.
Yeah,
it's too mechanically
too
demanding.
That's right. So we'll see. We'll see about jungle. Yeah, again, I've never been a fan of tier lists. Again, just because I don't trust people to use the information correctly.
Yes, the way we should trust information. Yeah.
All right, next one here. This will be the last one. Just a quick Q&A section. This one, Curtis. Hey guys. First of all, this is from Aridas. First of all, big fan of the show. Keep doing your thing. Secondly, I want to hear your opinion on my situation. I'm a 20-year-old and I'm currently a D1 mid laner, Orianna one-trick pony in EU West. Recently, you've been talking a lot about organizations wanting a long-term project as they look to sign 17, 18-year-olds for their orgs. So I was wondering just how possible would it be for a 20 to 22-year-old to make it into the scene. I always say that with enough hard work, anything is possible, but it feels kind of scary knowing that I'm already at a disadvantage. Considering my age and the fact that I one-tricked my way to D1, I really love the game, but I'm not sure if it's a waste of time to try my absolute hardest to become a pro. So my initial reaction to this, if you're asking this question, I don't think you should actually try and be a pro player. You got to be crazy. Obsessed. The fact you have doubt, if you're sitting in, you're struggling to get through the challenger, you're just going to crumble because you're going to think it's taking too long or it's a waste of time.
The way I think of it is like this. I'll be honest. I think the chances of becoming pro, especially because you got the D1 as a one-trick Orianna, it's very hard. Very hard.
Okay.
I mean, again, that's why I don't like one-tricking, because you're going to have to learn other champions. You're going to go back down to like D3, D4, and,
Take a year
and
or
then you have
two.
to take a year or two to build back up. Like, it's going to take a long time. And by the time you're going to be 21, 22, and it's basically too late.
You think so? Okay.
I would say, yeah. So there's that, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't try, because I still believe this to be the case. League of Legends is an amazing hobby.
Yeah.
The skills you develop while learning the game and playing to a very high level will follow on to. Doesn't matter what you do, it will follow on to it. Like the skills you develop and the mentality and everything.
Yeah.
So I always tell people it's fine. It's okay. You don't have to play to become a pro player. Playing to become a challenger player and push yourself and go through that process, learning how to learn the discipline, the mental resilience, the emotional control, like, you know, putting the short term to the side and thinking long term. Like, there are so many benefits to it. And who knows, if you get challenger as an Orianna one trick, maybe you just stick with Orianna and you can be known as the Orianna guy.
Yeah, that's right.
You can become a streamer or whatever, or maybe whatever it is. There's so many things you can do, but it's less about that. It's just a hobby. It's just an awesome hobby.
You're competing. It's competition.
Yeah, competition's so healthy.
I think League is, I mean, we're super biased, but I think League's the best competitive game you can play.
Definitely.
It's just the
No
pure,
doubt.
like the how hard the competition is, especially in EUS Challenger.
The mentally resilient.
It's so difficult because there's no other game that has a rank system as well as League,
not that good, yeah.
and as many players trying on this very
As
good
many
rank system.
players and how competitive it is.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect ground for just like just training the mind. Love it, dude. So again, maybe this relieves a little bit of pressure off you to like, because I don't think, in my professional opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
not going to say it's impossible, but it's just not my professional opinion.
Yeah. And again, it's like we were talking before about the brutalness of being a pro player.
Yeah.
And like all those players, 22, 23, all off teams, man, they're like legends of the scene. It's like you've got to do a serious impact. I mean, you've got to be like rank 1 on like 3 accounts top 10 in like a year, 2 years time to be even... be like really considered, I think.
Yep.
To really have just a quick rocket career where you just bam, like the best.
Because I've seen there's already 16, 17, 18-year-old challengers that are like 900, 1K LP.
That's right. And they're just going to get better and better.
Yeah. Just the way it is, unfortunately. So, yeah, man. That's my take on it. So, I would still try and go for Challenger. Have it as a really good hobby. Don't get discouraged too much. Like, again, it's just a game. Put yourself to... Like, try and push yourself. Set a goal. That's how confidence is built. That's how personality is built.
Season 11, let's go. Let's go, Aridas.
Well, I think that's going to be it for today's
That's
questions.
it for today's questions. Nathan's mailbag.
Yep.
We did the housekeeping at the beginning.
Yep.
So, we're all
so you
good.
remember, check out the community post if you want to ask questions.
For our guest next Thursday.
Yep.
So, next episode. It's not next
It
episode.
won't be
it's the
next episode.
one.
It'll be next Thursday.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Thanks
for
everyone
tuning
for listening.
in, and we will see you next week for episode 22.
Absolutely. Catch you guys later.
Bye.